a feature of especially the Nguni languages in South Africa that linguists, people who study languages, find extremely fascinating is the click sounds. Ka, 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 and all the variations surrounding that. Ka, 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 and so forth. The different variations of the click sounds. And it has given rise to the big question, but were the click sounds original to the Nguni languages, or did they become part of the Nguni languages? And the general consensus amongst those who study the languages of South Africa and the Nguni languages is that the Nguni languages, that is, even before we could have spoken of the language called isiXhosa or isiZulu, before that we could speak about isiNguni, that the click sounds entered into isiNguni back then through intermarrying with the people that are often referred to in isiZulu as abatwa. There are different names also in the Xhosa language for the people referred to in isiZulu as abatwa. Some people in our own day, when speaking English, they speak about the Khoisan people. Some people say, oh, no, you shouldn't speak about the Khoisan. There's a different way of referring. They separate the two, the Khoi or the San. But this is in linguistic circles, the general consensus. In other words, there's general agreement that this is where the clicks became part of Proto-Nguni language, the Proto-Nguni language that's prior to what we could call today isiZulu or isiXhosa. Something very interesting, I'm thinking specifically now about the Xhosa language. The point I'm making now is not specifically related to the clicks in isiXhosa, but it's an interesting example. I remember a couple of decades ago, I visited Namibia, and while I was there, there is the interesting language called Damara Nama. And I knew because of my studies earlier that the isiXhosa word igusha is said by linguists to come from the language of the abatwa. The word igusha, that's the Xhosa word for a sheep. And so, just more than 2 decades ago, while I was in Namibia, I was curious to ask a Damara Nama speaker from Namibia, what is your word for a sheep? Now, remember, these languages of the Damara Nama people are totally different from what in linguistic circles is called the Bantu languages. In isiZulu, we speak about isiNtu. Okay, so these languages are different. So I spoke to this person. So what do you call a sheep in Damara Nama? And the answer was goose. Goose. Okay, think about the Xhosa word igusha, and linguists generally agreeing that that word igusha, but also other words, entered into Proto-Nguni through marriage between the Nguni people long ago and the abatwa. It is a very interesting point of view, but it's the general point of view amongst the linguists, specifically when it comes to African languages. So there you have it.